One of the most important things that I've learned in the past few months and that I've learned in my early stages as an entrepreneur is that L's or losses aren't really losses. They're course correctors, right? And maybe a lot of you people have thought about this somewhat of a way and maybe thought like maybe L's aren't actually just losses. And it's kind of what I want to talk about today. It's very important to not distinguish, to be able to distinguish the difference between an actual failure and a loss, right? Because only you as a person can become a failure if you as the person decides to let yourself become the failure, right? If you get what I'm saying. Losses, they're just losses and learning points. They're course correctors until you decide to make a difference, right? So once you decide to give up, well, that's when it turns into a failure. As long as you don't give up, you just keep course correcting and you end up at the right destination. Now, losses like, for example, client disputes, emails, automation's not working, messaging not converting, right? Ads spending too much, people not showing up, people not responding. Whatever it is in business, whatever industry you're in, there's going to be constant problems. Ad accounts being shut down in e-commerce, agency, whatever it is, right? You know it. There's going to be constant problems, constant losses in business. This is why, like, as a business owner, you need to be able to solve problems, right? There's a lot of people that literally they call themselves full-time problem solvers, just because they know that that's kind of the job you're in, right? Because you always solve these problems. There's always something coming up. Anyways, if you start seeing all these losses and all these like mini setbacks, quote unquote, as L's, well, it's very easy to fall into this negative spiral. And to be honest with you, the negative spiral is the last thing and the last place you want to be. And the reason is, especially in the start of your journey, is because a lot of us and a lot of people go through the lonely chapter, right? And the lonely chapter is where you basically you don't really fit in with the group of friends that you've had since you were a little kid, and you haven't really done the work and you haven't really earned the position and the place to kind of be, sorry about that, be in a position to be with people that are of a higher echelon either, right? You just don't really fit in, right? So you kind of just this little loser floating around. And if you end up in a negative spiral, trust me, it is probably the worst thing that can happen to you, right? You end up just like those dominoes breaks, right? It just keeps falling. Everything just keeps falling and it just turns to completely havoc, right? It like because like as soon as you fall into this negative spiral, as I mentioned, like things just start falling down, right? And when more things start breaking, and since you're looking at everything as like a negative standpoint, like obviously you're on a negative spiral, everything bad that's happening, you keep looking at it as bad and you keep falling down, nothing really seems to work out for you, and nothing will work out for you, quite frankly. And that is the brutal truth. Like, nothing will work out for you if you keep looking at things this way, right? Now, one thing that I've learned and I've really honed in on the last few months is that you need to frame everything as a lesson, right? Everything will start feeling like a W, right? So we're talking L's and W's, losses and wins. You'll start having so much more momentum if you start framing everything as a win, right? Or a lesson, right? As a win or a lesson, right? You're constantly getting smarter, right? You're constantly improving. It's literally only a matter of time until you like hit that breaking point, right? Whether something like an L happens or you have this little mini setback, always look at it as a win, right? Always look at it and think, all right, Haider, whatever your name is, this is what happened right now. This is the options I have. This is what I can learn from this. Let's learn from it and let's make sure that this doesn't happen again. And let's make sure that the thing that this can lead to does not happen either, right? That's what you can do, right? Mm, you need to just sit there and just kind of deep dive into it for a little bit, right? I remember this one story I heard from please do recall if it's a little bit wrong. I don't know quote word by word how it is, but it was from 50 Cent, and when he got shot like multiple times, I believe he got shot like 9 times, right? One of the times he was shot in his I think it was his tongue, right? And he literally said something again, not word for word, something in the lines of this. this will help me in my music, right? I will sound so much more different than the other rappers. So basically, what he did is that he used this as fuel, and what that goes to show us, as obviously as entrepreneurs, is that not that we're doing any type of music, but the fact that if he saw that as this, right? Why can't we see these learning points as something positive as well in our own industries, in our own little business, right? Why can't we do that, right? Like, here's the thing, right? Like, if you just frame everything as a good thing or as a lesson, like for example in Islam, right, in like the Muslim religion, which I'm a part of, alhamdulillah, we believe that everything happens for a reason. Like God knows every single thing that is about to happen in the future, that has happened, that will happen. Everything is like predestined, right? Like God knows every single thing about the future. And one thing like you can look at this and learn by is that, okay, like let's say boom, this happened, oh well, now God is trying to learn me something. God is trying to teach me something, that okay, you do this happens, right? Maybe you've had a few good months and boom, everything just starts falling into pieces and nothing really seems to work out. Well, then maybe you need to reevaluate stuff and look at your life again, right? Look at your life. What are you not doing? What type of habits are you not doing? What type of things are you neglecting, right? What are you consistently doing, right? Basically, that's what you want to do, right? You want to look into that. Now, I'll be very honest with you guys and very upfront with you guys. On these videos, I've been talking about revenue, doing 7K a month. Last month, the last 2 months have been really, really bad. And honestly, quite frankly, it's my fault, right? Team's not been performing that well. People are not been showing up. I've not been closing. I've not been attending that many calls. I've been very, very lazy. I've gotten very, very complacent and very comfortable. And there's no like, if I don't share this on my YouTube channel, don't hold myself accountable for, well, I'm just going to keep shying away from it. And if I keep shying away from it, what I'm saying to my subconscious is that, you know what, it's fine, which it really isn't. Honestly, this it isn't fine. The state I'm in life right now, it isn't fine. I don't want to be here. Um, yeah, we did like I don't know, like 3K this month. It's nothing in comparison to what we've done, and expenses are high, right? Not expenses in general, but like things I invest in is high. So I need to make much more than that. And it's not good, right? So we need to make sure that I get back on track and I know exactly what's happening, right? I've taken the evaluation and looked at it. I've seen what's happening, right? I've stopped doing a few things. I've indulged in a few more bad habits, right? I've spent a lot more time on my phone. I've downloaded social media apps, right? Spending time on Instagram here, TikTok here, scrolling there. Been eating a little bit more junk, right? There's just a lot of things that have been happening at one time, and I've just completely stopped. All my good habits have been completely drained and all my bad habits have gone to the top, right? And it's just really caused me to just kind of crash out basically. Anyways, that is literally just another, like the way I look at it is that it's God teaching me, like, listen, Hyder, you're able to do it. You've been able to do it. You can do it again, but don't get too comfortable, right? Because these things, they don't just come, right? It's a lot easier to lose the money you've made than it is to make the money in the first place. So make sure that you learn that. That's something I'm learning, and I'm just showing you guys a live example of it, right? But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like God has everything, like everything is planned, right? Like God has everything planned out. God has a better plan for you, right? There's another hadith in the Quran where it says, "With hardship there comes ease," right? And it's kind of like the saying that people say, "This too shall pass," which it will, right? Whatever hard happens, it's like you've probably had multiple times in your life where something hard or something difficult has popped up, and at that instance you're like, "Oh, like what am I supposed to do? This is so difficult, yada yada yada." And then all of a sudden, when it's gone, it's like either you don't think about it, or even if you do think about it, you're like, wasn't even that bad, right? It's probably happened to a lot of you guys, right? Um, but I can give you guys an example, right? I can give you guys an example so that you guys can kind of see this in a different way. Let's say person A is John, right? He looks at everything negatively, right? All problems. He looks at everything negatively, right? So we're talking every type of lesson. He just looks at it negatively, right? Then we have person B, which is me. I look at everything positively, right? In a day, let's say 15 problems pop up, 15 different lessons, 15 different problems or else you can say pop up. Well, for John, he had 15 more negative spirals. He had 15 more reasons to quit. He had 15 more reasons to justify the point that his teacher said to him earlier that month that, oh, you're a bum. You shouldn't do any type of online business. You don't know how that works. Well, you need to study, yada, yada, yada. There's 15 different times that thing has played in his head and he's slowly starting to fall into that. Or maybe a job isn't too bad. Or maybe a comfortable life isn't too bad. Or maybe just as long as maybe just as long as I have the girl I love, maybe I'll just be comfortable, right? Maybe this, maybe that. No, stop it, man. No, that's like And you can see that's exactly what happening. If you think about it like in your own life, just like you can pause the video and just write it down. Like, have you been thinking like that? Like you can honestly figure that out quite quickly, right? Now, he's just contemplating more and more to give up. He just keeps falling in this negative spiral, right? But with me, Haider, I just had 15 lessons, right? 15 individual times where I learned something and it made me stronger, right? You know, like everybody here probably, you've been to school, university, high school, anything like that, right? You know when like you teach something in class and you have an exam obviously about that, and everybody just tells you that whatever you teach in school, it's so much different than what you're actually going to do in like practice. So let's say when you're actually going to work as an engineer, well, things might pop up that you didn't know. Like, what are your exam book going to tell you that you're going to get an issue at 12 p.m. in the morning? No, like that's just going to happen at that point. But with this, with business and us people doing these online things, like we teach everything on the go, right? So it's a lot more effective than actually a degree, because in a degree, like you have to learn everything, do the exams, and then you're still going to face the same problems. Whereas with us, it's like when we're doing marketing, we're learning much more about marketing because we're head on diving into those problems, right? So it's kind of the same thing, right? It's kind of those like 15 individual times where you have the opportunity to learn something and to actually build and become better, right? You see like how that's different between John and Hyder. Like it's a completely different like mindset shift. And just the mindset really just changes everything for both of their lives, right? Now, if you don't make this conscious about yourself, if you don't make this conscious that this is happening and that this is something you're doing, right? Like it's going to ruin your life. There's this one quote, I think, by Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Which is so true, and it's scary if you think about it. Whereas if you don't think about like the unconscious that you're working with and what you're thinking about and what's actually happening, well, it will start ruling your life, right? The negative thoughts that you don't realize you're having, the negative spirals you're falling into, starts keeping and giving those feedback loops about something is negative, boom, 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 and it will start ruling your life, right? And you'll end up saying, oh, well, it was just fate. It wasn't meant for me, when you actually didn't do anything. And you know that deep inside, right? So definitely nothing I would recommend. Like, think about it. If your income went down 1 month, it will make you think God is showing you be more resourceful, right? How can I use my money that I already have to stretch it out as far as I can? How can I not waste my money, right? If a payment processor blocks you, well, then you need to have multiple payment processors available. You need to have backups, right? That's something else you can learn. If bank got shut down, let's say your bank got shut down, well, get more bank accounts, open in more like countries, right? If you just go the negative route, imagine not thinking like this, and you're literally done for, right? There's nothing you can do about it. It's finito, right? So yeah, remember, guys, just always think positively about things. Just as there's a negative spiral loop, there's a positive upward spiral loop. And yes, life's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not always going to be up, 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 up. Sometimes it's going to be downs and ups, but you need to be able to control that. And if you make the unconscious conscious of what's happening in the back end of your life and you're subconscious, well, then you'll be good. But if you're not aware of it, if you're just being complacent to it and you let life just throw you in the way it's gonna take you, well, that's what's gonna happen, right? Because at the end of the day, we do have free will and we're able to control exactly what we want to do and exactly where we want to be in life. Future is dependent on you, man. The future person capable of getting those cars, living the lifestyle, fuck all the materialistic shit, being able to provide for your family, helping them out whenever they need anything, help anybody out, your friends, just live life on your own terms, location freedom, time freedom. That is your choice. If you really wanted it, you would have it, right? Like at the end of the day, think of it like this is a reminder for myself as well, guys, by the way. Like Ronaldo, Conor McGregor, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Iman Khati, I don't know how he even got there, but now he's in that bracket as well. Alex Hormozy, they all were created from the same flesh, from the same what like how God created all of us. Like they're all humans, right? Every one of them has 24 hours in the day. And people like that, like they're even a lot more busier, right? And even when they weren't that busy, well, they still managed to make things work, right? It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind, and it's all in your discipline and how you set up your life and how you actually do what you're supposed to do. Because if you do, you'll be there. If you want it bad enough, you will get there. Now, if this made sense, guys, leave a like, let me know. And then, other than that, I'm wishing you guys the best. All right, I'm wishing you guys the best, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.